Hello YouTube, hello subscribers, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to continue our talk about the mental health crisis that I have started last time. The world is toxic and it's becoming more and more toxic. Therefore, you should be prepared not necessarily to adapt to a toxic world, but to change what it is possible to be changed. If you change the place, you change the luck, but it is a big risk and it takes a lot of energy. Changing the place is one of the most stressful events in a human life. The mental health crisis has become a global epidemic, therefore very important topic that we need to discuss. Last time we have talked about the symptoms and the causes of the mental health crisis, the so-called unmet needs and the Maslow hierarchy of needs. As promised last time, I shall continue today this discussion by pointing out that not all of our needs are equally important. And to be more specific, I see the social needs less important. Relationships are not compulsory. If we cannot discover friends, it's important to be aware that we cannot make friends. The most basic needs in the Maslow hierarchy of needs are the psychological needs and safety needs. We can sleep, eat and feel safe if we have money. Therefore, money and financial problems are the most important factors to be taken into consideration for our well-being and mental health. Unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck pretty low on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Most people have their psychological needs met, but regarding their safety needs, a lot of people have problems. Survival is not easy, therefore, we are far from thriving. At least for the moment being. Employment is a very problematic chapter in most of people's lives. For many people, it's difficult to find a job, then it's difficult to keep a job, because a job normally asks you to behave very artificially compared to our natural human being. In time, we have learned to adapt, but that's draining all our energy. Everything nowadays is short-term. Both employment and relationships are short-term. Short-term is very stressful for the individual, so stressful that actually it's not worth anymore. We need to take energy somehow, and we can construct something in stability only. Nowadays, stability is gone. The return of the invested energy is not worth anymore. We spend years in writing job applications and going to interviews, which was not at all the case 100 years ago. My grandparents spent the same time in a meaningful way. They raised some children. And all this waste just for the employer to be proud of having to choose among 400 qualified candidates. It's such a human waste which will definitely have human consequences. So actually our main deficiency is employment creation. But as long as meritocracy is dead, there are of course consequences. Humans are champions to create useless innovation. Porn is much more important than innovation. And in general, learning manipulation is considered more valuable than learning something useful. Women here perfectly know at 20 years old that it's not worth to lose their time with men. When I was 20 years old, I was a big dreamer. Also at 20 years old, people cannot afford anymore to choose the career in accordance to their hearts and passions. They have to choose that career which has the highest probability to work in a few years when they'll be finishing their studies. That's adapting to a sick society, and neglect who you are, what you like doing. How can we expect employment creation from a society of narcissists? By definition, narcissism has nothing to do with creation. By definition, narcissism has to do with stealing. Scammers. Scammers have always existed and will always exist. Just nowadays we have all the means to educate ourselves. We read more, we listen to podcasts, we have YouTube. All these sources of information are struggling to make us aware that something's wrong with our society and to help us develop tools to protect ourselves from the evil. And the shift of our society towards a more virtual society will increase the risk of scams and other forms of cybercrime. Therefore, it's our duty to increase awareness by educating individuals about how to recognize and avoid scams, and ideally it should be established robust legal and regulatory frameworks to hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. Unfortunately, we cannot control that. What can we do to encourage useful innovation? First and the easiest thing we can do to encourage useful innovation is not to buy all the garbage we are served. We produce too much with the idea that the economy has to be always increasing. But the economy will be always increasing only if people will desperately buy. Inflation is a sign that we have to stop buying, at least for a while. Keep in mind that the increase of mental health issues is profitable for the economy because we cover our frustration with several addictions. Some people are drinking, others are taking drugs, others are eating, others do compulsive shopping. Of course, we all like new things. However, spend 1 minute and think before buying anything. Is this new thing really useful for me or not? How could I spend this money wiser? Make sure your money is being used in a way that aligns with your goals and priorities. And of course, don't get into debt in order to buy things that you are going to regret later. We talk so much nowadays about minimalism, but the first thing before minimalism is intentional shopping. Intentional shopping refers to the practice of making thoughtful, mindful, and purposeful decisions about what to buy and why. It involves considering the impact of one's purchases on oneself, others, and the environment, and making choices that align with one's values and goals. For example, choosing to buy locally grown or organic product to support small farmers and reduce the environmental impact of transportation. Purchasing second-hand clothing or furniture to reduce waste and support circular economic models. Buying products made from sustainable materials such as recycled plastics or natural fibers to reduce the environmental footprint of consumption. Supporting small businesses or fair trade brands that prioritize ethical labor practices and social responsibility. Investing in high-quality, durable items that will last for a longer time, rather than cheap, disposable products that will need to be replaced frequently. Life quality means different things for different people, and what brings you joy or fulfillment may not be the same for someone else. Some people may value financial stability and a comfortable lifestyle, while others may prioritize experiences, personal growth, or relationships. Different cultural and individual backgrounds can also influence what people consider to be important factors in their quality of life. What brings happiness and fulfillment is highly personal and subjective. take some time to define life quality for yourself. It's important to take the time to reflect on what matters most to you and to focus on building a life that is meaningful and satisfying to you. This may involve setting goals and making choices that align with your values and priorities. Take some time to define your hierarchy of needs. It may be different of Maslow's pyramid of needs, but it's an important measure to estimate what you need to focus first in order to get a balanced life and to keep protected of mental health issues. Statistically speaking, your work is the most important thing, also because it takes 1/3 of your life, at least 1/3. Work will become more and of better quality if we're gonna have useful innovation. But this doesn't happen far away and others are responsible. We have a common responsibility for a better life. Useful innovation should be a collective effort and not an effort reserved to the others. If you are still here with me, I would like to thank you for your time. Hopefully, I'm going to meet you soon in the next video.